investment fund felt really aligned to what we do here. It's funding through the health service, which is, I think, really interesting and important that the health service are actually looking at supporting community hubs, because we're not just interested in getting food out to people, but we're interested in the quality of the food and how that impacts on the health of our communities generally.
People come here for many different reasons, but fundamentally I think the common ground is to meet other people, to avoid being lonely. It's warm, but most of all it's safe. It's a safe place for people to be who they are, and there's no strings attached to it.
We have people who maybe are on, in very precarious housing, who might not have the facilities in their accommodation to be able to cook. We have people who need some social connection, some social contact. So we have people who might be a bit isolated, and it's a very welcoming space for them.
It's very important to me as a social space, quite apart from a culinary one.
It's noticeable how long people do stay. People come along, have their food, but they will stay, they'll mingle. And quite often you'll see people looking across, especially if they're sitting on their own, almost asking somebody to come and talk to them.
The fund has enabled us to be a bit more self-determining, so, being able to match what people are asking with what we can provide.
Middle of the Hill Community Group is a group which is here to benefit the local residents of our community, and as part of what we do, we have a food redistribution hub which is here to help people who perhaps are in food poverty, but it's also here to ensure that food doesn't go to waste and doesn't get thrown away when it's perfectly good.
This one here, Middle of the Hill, it's completely volunteer led, and for them to have a big organisation like the NHS give them money, it gives them a real sense of their being valued. So it lifted the self-esteem of all of the community hubs that got the community investment funding. It really meant a lot to them. And every bit of funding that comes in, large or small, means a lot, because they make tiny amounts of money go a really, really long way.
It means a huge amount to the people who come here. Virtually all the properties in the development of Nelson's Cross, which is the heart of our community, are one-bedroom apartments or bungalows, which means that there are a lot of people living on their own. So this is perhaps the only place where people are able to come together on the estate to socialise, meet with their neighbours and connect. So we've got a lot of people who live on their own, and so for them it's really important to have this space to meet their neighbours, to connect, which we know is so important for mental well-being.
The Community Investment Fund is going into 10 of the hubs that are across the district, and they are in the communities where traditionally people would have been called hard to reach. I always think of hard to hear, rather that it's hard for services to reach into those places, but those people living in that place, that's where they live, they just don't know about the services that are out there. So the hubs being in those places, the Community Investment Fund going into those hubs, that's bringing the services closer to those people where it's really needed.
We do feel we provide a vital service here, and people are really appreciative of that.
So we started this Pan Disability Football Club about a year and a half ago. Basically the idea is that there was a big demand for it within Gloucester. This session facilitates players from disadvantaged backgrounds, players with disabilities, both learning and physical, and it's effectively a session for everyone to play and be included within, no matter what the ability.
I've been coming to these sessions for about a year now, I think, and it means everything to me because football is my life, pretty much.
They're always asking when the next tournaments are because they play competitively as well, so we've got 3 different competitive teams who play in different leagues as well to meet their ability levels. They absolutely love it. Our memberships are growing, so in total we've got nearly 40 members. For these guys who might not necessarily feel comfortable joining a mainstream club, it's priceless because they make new friends, they've got that regular commitment and also a sense of belonging where they can come every week and just relax and enjoy doing something they love, really, playing football.
Come down to a session, enjoyed it, liked it, so I joined up, and I haven't really looked back since then. A good exercise, good fun, everyone has a laugh, everyone gets on.
So the Community Investment Fund's been fantastic. It's funded 6 sessions here So obviously pays for staff costs, the venue hire, for example, to be able to train on this facility. And then it's also gone towards helping the participants with transport to get to competitions. It's also going to go towards subsidising a new training kit for the players. Many obviously don't work or come from low income backgrounds, so wouldn't necessarily be able to pay a full price for a training kit. So the fact that we can subsidise that is fantastic. As an organisation, the fact that that funding has enabled us to put on these sessions and pay for the delivery of these sessions is great for our sustainability and trying to make sure that this project stays for the long term, not just for the short term.
Great fun. Everyone's like really gets along. Everyone's really enjoys it.
It just gives them an opportunity to be involved and to play, and just play just like anybody else. So they're not being excluded.
What we wanted to do was to engage the community in something that would be fun, so that the families could come together with other families and engage in something fun. So we're doing an art project, delivering a 5-week programme of different art activities so that they can build relationships.
It's all about well-being and how to sit together as a family and do things together. So it's an opportunity for them to just spend time together, to not have to think about what they're doing after school, and then we sit down and we have a meal together afterwards.
To have the funding to provide something for our community has been, in every sense of the word, a godsend. We've wanted to outreach to the community and do things for the community. So this funding has been instrumental in enabling this to happen. It's enabling us to reach out to people in the community, give them a sense of something fun to do in the evenings together. Without the funding, we wouldn't have been able to do this. Well, I think ultimately everyone wants to feel that they belong, that they have a sense of value in a community. And we value everyone in our community, and we want them to feel that they do have a place to belong, whether that's through coming here. Belonging is really important, and I think maybe today more so than ever, there's more disconnect with community, and if we can bring people back together face to face, hopefully that has a positive impact on well-being.
I've seen lots of positives coming out of it, and I can see that it has had an impact. I can see that the families, when they leave us, they are looking positive, they look happy, they're keen to come back, they're smiling and saying that they've had a wonderful time. So it has been a really positive experience.
So our charity, That Woman Group, we support women in Gloucestershire who experience domestic abuse. And this can be past experience or it could be something quite new. And we offer them like one-to-one peer mentor support where they can meet up with their peer mentors, they can go for walks, they can have coffee, have lunch, and we help them with different things as well. So if they need help with food, if they need clothes, if they need signposts to different other organizations, if they need a solicitor. And we also offer them creative and well-being workshops where they can go and escape their situation, so it could be any trauma.
I've been with That Woman Group since last year. I was quite lost. I didn't know what to do. That Woman Group has provided me a platform to restart my life. So if we think that That Woman Group is just helping domestic abuse victims and survivors, actually that behind the scene, it's doing more than that.
So we're based in Gloucester, but we support clients all around. I mean, we support clients in the Forest of Dean, Stroud, Cheltenham. We have a couple come from Tetbury. I'm a survivor of domestic abuse myself. So things that we do, we incorporate, we're thinking about them.
I'm like the living proof of whatever the That Woman Group is fighting for, and whatever they are promoting is not just an empty talk. The trust that she has for me as a transgender woman, because she wants to highlight that That Woman Group is all about fighting for women supporting another woman. So, and when she advocates that That Woman Group is very inclusive in terms of racial background, LGBT community.
So when I applied for the Community Investment Fund, it was an easy process. It was straightforward. They wanted some information. I knew exactly what I needed to give over to them, and I was very, very happy with the quick response to say, actually, we're going to reward you with some funding, and it was in my account straight away.
Every week we get like about roughly about 3 to 5 referrals. So basically, we need to make sure that we have the capacity to address the issues of other people and the clients that come to us.
The Community Investment Fund is an allocation of money given to us by NHS England to support projects that would help the most disadvantaged in our communities, both those that are suffering health inequalities, but also those that need support to improve their health and well-being. And this money was given to the ICB, a sum of £300,000, to give to projects that would have a very positive short-term impact, so a quick delivery of improvements to help people in our communities.
It really all started off from our work with the Patients Participation Group in the Fairford surgery. What became fairly obvious was a lot of people who go to the surgery go there because they've got financial and social problems, and also they're very lonely.
This is what we call our talking cafe. People come here for support, for help, or just for a bit of cheerful company and a cup of tea. But we do have an advisor who will refer people on to agencies, to Gloucestershire carers, to social prescriber. Whatever help they need, they can be passed on to them.
The whole of the community is welcome to come to the Talking Cafe, whatever age you are. We invite families, but the majority of our people are over 65 and retired. We also run a back room where we bring in partnerships and other charities and agencies to share information. We also offer digital inclusion, so if someone wants to be able to keep in contact with family, we can help them with WhatsApp, FaceTiming, and also doing shopping to keep their independence.
We have had substantial funding from the Community Investment Fund, for which we're very grateful. It has enabled us to keep going with a warm space throughout the last winter. We've provided help for people, fuel, vouchers, advice, meals. It's really gone a long way.
We help people to help each other.
It's opened up a lot of doors for people to make new friendships and to be able to then go off and meet other people for lunch another time, so connecting them to their community.
I won't say they come for the coffee, they come for the chat, the gossip and company and help if they need it.
So I have physical disabilities. There's other people in the group who have various challenges, and actually the Kitchen Club have worked really hard to be able to incorporate it and be able to work with everybody and make sure everyone can take part.
With the healthy eating sessions, we really are able to help people embrace cooking from scratch and using really simple ingredients to make a nutritious meal in a short space of time. And actually in today's climate, learning how to utilize electricity in the most affordable ways.
One of the major things that we've learned is just how easily and cheaply you can make things when you're cooking from scratch.
I've never really learned how to cook by myself with no adult help, and I'm going to college in September and then on to university, so that is a skill that will stay with me and will be very helpful in future.
The Community Interest Fund is there to really bring together the community to address the needs that are there. These are needs that people might not even recognize. For instance, people who after the pandemic have been so isolated that only once they come together in a group do they realize how isolated they were actually. The bonds and the friendship that is formed is just really uplifting, and it's really joyous to see. Having funding has made a massive difference. We really believe that if you learn to cook, you will eat well for life.